Our next speaker is a top business strategist and blockchain expert in Asia. He wrote the books Blockchain Revolution of 2030 and NFT from Zero to Hero. He is also a founder, investor, and advocating for a decentralized blockchain industry. He was also awarded an honorary doctorate in 2022 for contributions to productivity science in Mongolia. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome to the stage with a warm round of applause, Mr. Anndy Lian. Andy, the stage is yours.
Good to see you, man.
Thank you.
Good to see you.
And if you may, Andy, we'll try to take some Q&A when you're down to about 4 minutes.
No problem.
Thank you, sir.
All right. It's a crazy topic, very crazy, because I've seen some of my fellow speakers were talking about transitioning Web 2 to Web 3, you know. I'm a bit idealistic, you know, and that's the reason why I look at Web 4 and how this would be a new way to put forth this decentralized agenda. Okay, so this is me. I'm a best-selling book author, you know, published the first book in Korean languages, bestseller. Then I published an NFT book 3 months ago, launched it on Bybit. We sold about 8,000 copies, so I hope the numbers can go up. I'm also known for my work with the government. So I started dealing with the government as early as 2018, only on regulatory issues, crypto bills, regulation issues with regards to decentralization, crypto-related issues as well. You know, so I give advice to them. You know, at one point I was advisor to 22 countries, you know, within a intergovernmental organization. So now I'm still giving advice to Mongolia. I'm also an advisor to Bybit. Bybit is the world's second largest derivative exchange. You know, I look at government-related issues. I was formerly the board member of Hyundai, you know, Hyundai, the car brand. You know, we look at many different issues, you know, and look at very different opportunities, you know, in the South Korea space. I was also the chairman of Big One. It's an exchange, you know, it's one of the earliest exchange in the Chinese space. Active in esports, and I have a PhD in productivity science. So this is who I am. I try my very best to give very candid and straightforward reply. And people who know me in the crypto space, I'm always fairly direct. So if you have any question, please ask. So why did I come up with the topic Web 4? You know, it seems like a crazy guy with a crazy topic, you know. But you know, as I speak to more people, you know, whether it's in the crypto space or whether it's a traditional space, I felt that there's a very big gap, you know. The definition of decentralization and the definition of how we operate as a decentralized entity, that's a very big gap, you know. So I realized maybe Web 4, you know. Anyway, it's not a new term, but it's not a term that is widely accepted in the space, you know. So just an overview, right? So World Wide Web, you know, it's just very straightforward HTTP kind of platform, HTML, you know, a lot of us, you know, basic coding, people who look at the website and so forth, we have all experienced this. Then we look at the Web 1, for example. You know, it's the first generation kind of web, very simple, very passive. You know, there's a obviously lack of interaction, you know, with the user and the user content. Then many of us are very familiar with Web 2, right? So that's the second generation of web, emerged early 2000. There's a greater collaboration, you know, between the sites, the people, the creator. It's more dynamic. That's for sure, right? You see a lot of interaction, a lot of promotion, and you see a lot of this cross-platform interaction. Last but not least, of course, the word crowdsourcing, become one of these idea or collective knowledge of idea, how this whole Web2 era kick off, right? And then for all the crypto friends and all these blockchain enthusiasts, we talk about Web3. A lot of talk, right? We talk about decentralized. So it's on a blockchain, run on smart contract, enable online interaction, right? And then there's the ability to use the app. You have the ability to look at, DeFi, right? Decentralized finance. So this is part of how Web3 is. And then there's another word that is a bit subjective, but control. So the vision is to create a decentralized, open, transparent network where users have more control over their data and over some of these interactions. So this is in general how we look at Web3. But if you look at this very deeply, I'm a licensed fund manager. I run a fund, since 2017, mainly on crypto stuff. I know that, at this current point, we do not own Web3. The VCs and the LPs, like myself and perhaps some of you out there, own it. It will never escape their incentive and is ultimately a centralized entity with a different label. And that's not said by me, it's said by Jack Dorsey, right? Some of you might be chatting among yourself and saying, hey man, that's still Web3, Maybe. But being a more idealistic guy, I look at Web3 in a very different manner. And definitely there are difficulties to attain through decentralization. And there's no need to have full decentralization. But we just need to be very mindful how we behave and how we do the business. So this is a survey conducted by Block Review in January. That's last month. So is Web3 decentralized? So this survey was conducted with 300 over practitioners. So realistically, 51 say that no, is not. I'm not sure how many of you agree to that. Do you think the current Web3 is decentralized? Any show of hands? Yes, you put up your hand. There's only one hand. Thanks. So you have the answer, to be very honest. So to me, Web3 is the first generation of decentralized web. We are all experiencing that. And I think Web4 will be the second generation. Of course, again, I said it's not widely recognized yet, but I think there's a point, because I see Web4 as something that's more decentralized. You will see artificial intelligence pushing the agenda forward. You will see a more adaptive web. It's more dynamic, it's autonomous, it's interconnected. Machines and machines will be talking. Again, it's a very idealistic thing that I have in mind. So this is one of the things that I said, in one of my other speeches and some of the articles that I've written. Web4 is a new way to redefine decentralization. A new way to re-decentralize what we think is correct and what we think we should do. If you speak to very extreme decentralization experts, they will say, get rid of the government, get rid of the schools even, get rid of the banks. We need to be decentralized. That's perhaps another way to look at things in a more practical manner, right? So what are the key advantages? If you look at the 4 things that I've mentioned, it might sound very familiar. You say, hey, this is something that we talk about in Web3, right? Greater security and privacy. That's something that we all want. More open and transparent system. that's again something that we all hope for, right? Greater resistance in the network, and there are more innovation within the whole Web4 environment. Again, these are nothing new at all. But I do see that there's a big advantage. It's more streamlined, it's more frictionless. Users do not need to worry about, what blockchain are we talking about? How much gas fees are we going to pay? If you are going to send a transaction over. Web4 could minimize all this friction. There's no need to keep talking about bridges. That bridge got hacked. Let's do a cross-chain. Perhaps Web4 would be something that is more idealistic. Then there will be a more circulation economy. More fiat on-ramp and off-ramp kind of facilitation, and then they bring the whole decentralized economy and its product to the next level. Right now, there are problems with big companies going to Web3. They do not know where is the real revenue coming from. How are they going to make more money? Web4 can do that. Symbolic. There's this relationship between the human and machine. And even direct brain-machine interfaces. So looking at this, things just got smarter. So where are the real opportunities? We have been talking about Web3, what you're going to do. Web4, a new era, what kind of opportunities are we looking at? So I would think that there will be more personalized experience. You enable creation, allow business to understand their customer, and there will be more tailored content. So what do? As a creator, you create more, because you can understand and reach out to your target audience a lot more effective. It is also AI powered, so there's an improvement in efficiency, speed up the time to market and lower costs, giving competitive advantage, to the businesses. Again, now ChatGPT and a lot of other AI-driven software are right now very popular. I do see that is a big chance to see that kind of interaction with Web4. New revenue streams, new targeted advertising and subscription services using the data that you have collected. It's no longer owned by the Web2 companies. It will be 100% driven by the users. What you want to give, what you want to take back. How to make money in Web4? There are many ways, right? So Web3, you control the machines, you get the money. Not sure how many of you will agree on this statement. I had a long conversation with a friend of mine who is right now with MIT, So we had a good chat online, and they say that, hey, we should really look at controlling the machines to get you money. Then I was saying, isn't that what we are doing right now? But then the conversation sparked, and then I said, why not we look at Web4? Machines control machines to get you money. Is that possible? Is that possible? I'm not sure, man. To be honest, I'm not sure. But my MIT guy say that it's 100% possible. If you code it right, put in a decentralized manner where the machines make the decision for us, some of the decisions for us, that's a very possible way to get you more money. That's a way that helps you to grow money in a slightly different manner. Industrial 4.0 in a full automation mode. What does that mean? When we first started to talk about blockchain and so forth, we want a certain level of trust. You trust the code, you trust the blockchain as a layer to help you to facilitate and ensure that there are trust. I think it didn't the narrative didn't work out very well. So in Web4, where the web is totally decentralized, that layer itself acts as a total independent trust layer, and that can enable a lot more automated processes. Machine agree to the code says yes, they run it. That's how I look at it. Yeah, full automation. So this is another thing. So I look at a decentralized ecosystem in the metaverse, plus AR and VR. Again, why I mentioned about this is not so much about just the metaverse, but I do see that if we really work in a Web4 decentralized environment, we look at a circular economy, and that could be something that is very sustainable in the longer run, right? A sustainable metaverse, not a metaverse right now where you walk around to earn some points, and it's not sustainable because who is going to pay the money, right? So again, we need to look at other ways to get in possible good revenue. Real decentralized apps and economy. Right now, sadly, there are a lot of decentralized apps that are maybe on a certain level, they are decentralized, they're not truly decentralized. Things can still be changed. So I hope that with Web4, things will change. And I want to say this, we want to give the real power, back to the users, not controlled by any Web3 wannabe companies, putting up a front that is Web3, but it's not Web3, it's not decentralized. I think the real power should be given back to the users. 100% driven back to the users. We try to segregate what is Web3 or maybe 2.5, like some of my friends say, versus what is real decentralization. But then, if you hear my conversation, I kept harping on the fact that, it's going to be Web4, it's going to be more decentralized, the economy is going to change. Of course, this is all in the very beginning ideation stage, right? But trust me, I'm not the only crazy one. I wanted to put crazy, but then my PRC just put creative, yeah? Jack Dorsey mentioned about Web 5, right? So if you remember, Jack Dorsey mentioned about Web 5, he shared the same kind of vision that I've mentioned. It's the next generation of internet. Jack says that we got to listen, right? So before we skip to 5, I think there should be a 4, right? That's how a lot of this software works, right? It goes with a running number. And then there are more crazier people, like Justin's from Tron, and Huobi, and Snoop Dogg, they are looking at Web 6, I think every one of us here are innovators. We look at things a few steps forward. And we agree, in the very simple poll, that the current Web3 is not decentralized. So let's work on the agenda, work on an agenda that is working for everybody. Things that need to be decentralized, we make it decentralized. Things that is not decentralized, please don't label it as decentralized. That's something that is very deceiving. If you are in Web3, your wallet is Web3, for example, you just got to follow the rules, And last but not least, Web4 is really a chance for us to redefine decentralization. That's something that I've mentioned, and we should push the same agenda together. These are some of the crazy articles that I've written about Web4, the next wave of decentralization, on some of this publication, and then wrote on Crypto Slate about what we see in Web4 that are missing in Web3. These are some thoughts that I have. Feel free to comment, share your thoughts, walk the same kind of journey together. We might be able to bring a very different decentralized Web4 world together. So again, the word that I want to put forth is, we really need to think about re-decentralization. not a right English word, but that's how I look at it. We look at reforming how Web3 is like right now. And last but not least, we look at a revaluation, how the decentralized economy is going to work for you and how it's going to be working for everybody, in a more effective manner. With that, that's where we powwow, that's where we do a bit of chit-chat. Just ping me, I'm always available, but of course there's a lot of fake Andys around. Just make sure that you get the right one.
Andy, thank you very much.
Right on time.
Right, yeah, perfect. A lot of fake Andys. That reminds me of the Slim Shady song. Will the real Andy please stand up? All right, ladies and gentlemen, do we have any questions for Andy? Yes, we've got a couple of people over here.
Okay. If I can't answer, I will go decentralized. Yeah?
By the way, there's one quick thing. Sorry for the silly question. I completely missed it. But what was up with Snoop Dogg? I saw Snoop Dogg on the screen.
Snoop Dogg is about Web4, Web6, man, Web6.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm actually behind time, way behind time.
Thank you for this presentation. The question is like the following. So Web3 started as a quite decentralized ecosystem, and now the idea is that it's moving back to centralized. I'm feeling that it's because of the central authorities, banks, just countries, their current legal laws don't allow the quite decentralization. So don't you think that Web4 is not quite possible right now, and we still need to change something else, not the technology itself, but just how the people communicate and how the legal system works?
Sorry, sir. Can you also give us your name and your title, what you do?
Yeah, so my name is Misha, and I'm a founder and CEO of We Make Tech. It's outsourced development company. Thank you.
This is a great question. I can just take this on. I think right now in this world right now, there's a conflict of interest, big conflict of interest, right? The traditional guys want it to be their way. This morning, I'm not sure what sources is that from. The US banks are trying to block, all kinds of crypto facilitation, So to them, there's a big conflict of interest, and it's not about just Web3 or Web4. The traditional system is there, right? The traditional system is there. You can't change it. That's one of the main reasons why decentralization and Web3 comes into the picture, right? The reason why Web3 is also not that decentralized is because it's all being facilitated by the same money, in a more testing phase right now with Web3. So that's one of the key reasons. It's just controlled by the same group of people. You can see things like CZ, from Binance. He talk about Uniswap and AZ16 holding 4% of the whole supply. They can actually call the shots. Are they decentralized? They are not decentralized, right? And then if you look at the overall arching the theme that you have mentioned, about regulations and so forth, it's very difficult. G20. After they talk about things like a uniform regulations, it's not possible because every country have their own rules, and again, the conflict of interest is there, right? And the last final words that I'm going to send this out is, if the traditional finance guys are not able to perfect their traditional system, how can they do that for crypto? They will not understand. So yes, it's going to take a long while.
We've got time for maybe one more question. Any other questions for Andy? Right here, the gentleman in the front, please. Can we pass him the mic?
Thank you. My name is Ali Reza from Iran. Thanks
Sorry,
for
excuse me, sir. Can you please introduce yourself?
Okay.
Name and title?
That's better.
Thank you.
Yeah. In your opinion, where is the position of artificial intelligence in Web4, and can it be trusted?
Sir, can you please give us your name and title?
Excuse me?
Can you introduce yourself, your name, your title?
My name is Ali Reza Mohammadi from Iran.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry, what was the question again?
Where is the position of artificial intelligence in Web4, and can it be trusted?
artificial intelligence and Web4 can be trusted. I think in my context today, I think it can be more trustworthy than what you see in Web3 right now, to be very honest. I rather trust the machines than people. Yeah, that's how I look at it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's please hear it for Mr. Andy. Thank you very much
Bye,
for
bro.
the insight and
Good to
wonderful
see you, man.
information. Thank you very much.